Hi there Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk Bounty video, and welcome to episode 2 of Finish the 96. I apologise that this video didn't drop last week, but what with the blue X-Wing and then the Fan First Wednesday reveals, I just didn't get a chance to record and edit this video in time for its Thursday slot. If you missed the first episode, I highly recommend checking that video out first, as it does explain what the original 96 are and why I'm doing this series. But in short, this series explores all of the original 96 Kenner figures and their card backs that Hasbro still need to put out into the modern vintage collection. Alright then, so with all that being said, if you do happen to enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you do like what I'm doing over at Bossk Bounty, be sure to subscribe to the channel and consider becoming a member for extra channel perks. On last week's episode, we ended on Romba, so the next figure on the list is Barada. Now straight away we're going to be getting into a slightly confusing one. The original Kenner figure released in the Power of the Force line with the coin does have Barada pictured on the card back. You can tell this by his blue trousers, or pants for my American friends, and the orange headband. But the figure is actually Kithaba due to his red trousers. Both characters are Klatooinians and look very similar, so it is easy to see where the confusion arose. As many of you will know, we do have Kithaba in the vintage collection, with the figure itself being definitive and the card back using what looks like the original Barada image, but with some elements photoshopped to match the character from the movie. Barada as a figure has been released in various different lines by Hasbro, all of which are true to the character's colour scheme, i.e. he has the blue trousers. So it could be that Hasbro believe that this one is ticked off in terms of the 96, but really, if you truly want to finish the 96, we do need a Barada figure with the correct colour scheme on his own card back. Kithaba, like the recent Zutton release, could be classed as an adjacent to the 96, a phrase coined by Hasbro, not me. Next on the list is General Lando Calrissian, which we already have twice, so we move on to Anakin Skywalker, or at least his Force Ghost. Now, being of a certain age, I was one of the people that wasn't happy that the Force Ghost of Sebastian Shaw was replaced by Hayden Christensen in the special edition. It made no sense to me. Vader returned back to the light side at his death, and that was the Sebastian Shaw Anakin. One of the more boring figures from the original Kenner run, it would still need to be released in the vintage collection to finish the 96. Perhaps to make the figure more interesting, Hasbro could also include a separate Hayden Christensen head, allowing you to create whichever Anakin Force Ghost you prefer. Maybe to go one step further, they could do 2 card backs as some kind of variant. The original image wasn't the greatest, it was kind of like an artist impression, much like the original Walrus Man card, so on this occasion I would like them to clean it up a bit, make it look a little bit more realistic. Moving on, and we can skip Luke Skywalker in Stormtrooper disguise because we got to him in 2020, so next up is the Imperial Gunner. Now some of you may think that we have this already released on the Rogue One card. That figure is actually quite different in terms of the outfit. Not to mention the name on the pill is described as the Death Star Gunner rather than the Imperial Gunner. It's all semantics really, but the original figure did not include the body armour, and the card back image is the style used in Return of the Jedi, where he can be seen in like an all-in-one jumpsuit. It would be nice to have this version on a Return of the Jedi card back to truly tick off his place in the 96. We can also move past Luke Skywalker in Endor Poncho, as this was released very recently in the Lucasfilm 50th anniversary Walmart exclusives, so that brings us on to the A-Wing pilot. This card back and figure is 100% missing from the vintage collection. Like the AT-AT Commander, AT-ST driver, TIE Fighter pilot and B-Wing pilot, the card art shows the vehicle rather than an image of the pilot. In the B-Wing's case, Hasbro chose to put the name of Kian Farlander on the name pill. I'm actually okay with this, and I'm not adverse to them doing the same with the A-Wing pilot. Hasbro have created a few A-Wing pilots in the past. We have Taicho Selchu from the 30th anniversary, Sela Kot from the Battle of Endor 4-pack, plus a couple of others. A few of these are almost there in terms of articulation and detail. I'm sure they might be able to make use of some of the already existing tooling, but I would like to see hinges at the wrists, not at the top of the glove, and of course an all new head sculpt and deco. Next in the lineup is Paplu, who we also got this year, so moving on to the final character I'll be covering this week, which is Amanaman. Last made in 2001 in the Power of the Jedi line, this figure was actually a result of a fan's choice vote. The figure itself isn't too bad and does look the part. However, he could possibly do with some elbow articulation. The worst thing about this figure is his inability to hold his staff. The hands are sculpted in such a way that it's near on impossible, and in the end the staff just rests in place. To me, Amanaman poses Hasbro with an almighty headache. The sheer size of the figure will be extremely difficult to put in a bubble, especially as Hasbro like to use those little plastic trays to keep the figure in place. Kenner did manage it back in the day, so it's not impossible, but they did kind of squeeze him into the bubble. But still, to finish the 96, the figure and the card back do need to exist in the line, so something will need to be done. What I can say though is that the extra accessories of Salacious Crumb and the corpse are not really needed, and most certainly will not fit in with the figure on the vintage card. So there we have it, the next 5 figures from the original 96 that Hasbro still needs to make in the vintage collection. Be sure to tune in to episode 3 next week, where we'll be taking a look at the next 5 figures on the list. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know if you've enjoyed the video by dropping a like down below, subscribe if you're new, consider becoming a member of the channel, and we shall see you on the next one.